One of the main concepts in my latest book, The Self-Employed Life, and I suspected it would be the concept that really took off, and it was probably one's most near and dear to my heart, and it in fact has taken off. It's the one that's getting all the attention. It's called hug marketing. And I came up with this idea of hug marketing because I have always struggled as a business owner and as a marketer with the typical marketing terms. Like, think about the energy. Again, my first book was called Lingo, right? Lingo is all about brand messaging. So obviously I put a huge amount of importance on words, the energy of words, because you can say a lot of different things and it can mean something very different depending on the energy behind it, right? There's a lot of energy behind words, and a lot of marketing words have a terrible energy. To refer to our customers as a target audience, like, what a terrible energy behind it. To talk about putting customers in through a marketing funnel, right? Think about the visual of a funnel. The visual of a funnel is that it's wide open-hearted at the top, welcoming, but then it's like this conniving scheme to squeeze people through a small hole at the bottom. Now, I get the idea. A marketing sequence is important. That's how we get clients. But I hated the terminology of marketing funnel. So struggling with this for years, many years ago in my own business, I made a change internally that we would no longer have a marketing plan. We referred to it as an enrolling plan. And it shifted the burden of responsibility from marketing at people to get them to hire us, to shifting the energy to, like, what do we need to take responsibility for to enroll people? What do we need to take responsibility for to get people to take one step at a time closer to us? That morphed into what I now promote and talk about, hug marketing. Hug marketing, instead of a funnel visual, is a series of concentric circles. And all of our businesses, lawyers and everyone alike, we have people that I refer to them as lurkers, right? They're the people that are watching us from a distance that we don't know by name. Our responsibility is to be compelling enough that they want to know more, so they become curious. Once they become curious, they become connected. Once they become connected, maybe they become customers or clients. The ultimate goal is to convert clients into hug clients, those that you can't imagine seeing in person, that you wouldn't give a hug to, because those are the ones that are going to come back to you. They're going to be loyal. They're the ones that are going to refer you. So it's the goal beyond customer acquisition, actually customer hugs. And for me, this has really shifted how I think about my responsibilities as a business owner, and is really the thing I'm having the most fun talking about to others and teaching step by step exactly how we do that.
Oh my gosh, that just sounds so fantastic to me. I literally want to, like, get off this call whenever I get off of it and, like, order your book and then start implementing, because I love that. I love that the energy is of, you're genuinely trying to be abundant in the way you are living your business life. And it's not just, target, convert, bye-bye. It's literally like creating that deeper relationship with your clients and your community. And I love that, because as we were talking earlier, my entire premise of my own business is to educate, and it is to make everything accessible, because I do believe that that's needed in order to even understand why. Like, how can you understand the why if you don't know, if you're not educated about it? I just love that. And I love that hug marketing. That is just so cool.
Well, I just, and I think here's an interesting thought as coming to me as you're talking about, especially for lawyers, is that, let's face it, I mean, because of the legality of things need to be said in a certain way, which can come across very cold and complicated, right? So there's a certain amount of essential language in the field. However, I guess what I would suggest is, how can you shift the energy of that? Because I think it can create so often words can create instant confrontation before it's even necessary. And this is going back a number of years ago. I coached a client who was a bankruptcy attorney. And she, quite honestly, felt like she wasn't doing good work in the world, right? She just felt like, as a bankruptcy attorney, she was seeing people at the lowest moments, and she was considering a complete career change because of how she was feeling as a bankruptcy attorney.
Right.
But the more I spoke to her, I saw a real heart in what she was doing. And I knew nothing about because most of us from the outside think of bankruptcy is, you've made mistakes, right? Most people think, either they themselves, if they find themselves in this situation, they think they've screwed up their lives, or how we see others going through bankruptcy. There's judgment. You're passing judgment on who they must be, how they must live, and the mistakes they've made. But what I learned from speaking to her is that bankruptcy can be a smart strategy to actually save the family. And I saw so much heart in her that I came up with this phrase. I said to her, it sounds to me what you're really doing, when done well, is you're helping responsible parents save the nest. I said, so isn't there a better energy to that? Like, she had taken on the energy of feeling like she was kind of the scum of the earth, doing bad things to people. But really, there was so much heart in her energy of what behind her work. It completely revitalized her career. And she wound up embracing the whole phrase "save the nest" and reframing how we looked at bankruptcy as being a strategy for responsible parents to save the nest, to keep their kids safe, to keep their family safe. She drove a Jeep Wrangler. Just thought it was fun for an attorney. And she had the spare tire cover on the back of the Jeep Wrangler printed with "Save the Nest."
No way. Yeah. I love that.
Right? So again, the energy of words, not only it's how we communicate to others, I think we also have to pay attention to the words we're saying to ourselves and how it makes us feel. In this case, she had been saying so many negative things to herself, she was ready to leave the field altogether until she thought about it differently and realized what she's doing is really noble work in helping families go through the bankruptcy process properly so that they can save the nest, get back on their feet.
Oh my gosh. That's such brilliant advice also.
I think it's bringing things back to the way they're meant to be. I think what's been disruptive is being told to do things a certain way that doesn't feel good for small business owners. So I think that's why I don't see my information as being disruptive. To me, it's like bringing it back to the way it should be, back to real relationship, back to paying attention to the energy of words that we use. So yeah, I don't know. I that's why I think it's just dropping in. It's just I'm always coming back to what's pure and true.
I think, and you bring up a really important point in small business owners or business owners, right? Even the big companies out there were small business owners at one time, but staying true to your core values, to who you are, people say, what's your why? But essentially, why did you start your business? Like, what is the purpose behind it? And staying true to that and always recentering yourself back to that is what I'm hearing from you. And I think that's so important, especially when we feel lost or when we are feeling some type of setback in our business, just knowing and going back to the values that we hold true to ourselves.
Yeah. Last year, I redid my website. It's actually just about a year ago. And, oddly, I'd never had an about page. Even, as a brand expert, I just felt like the whole website's about me. So what else, why have an about page? But I did so much work in the last couple of years about really understanding my values, my core unchangeable values, that I created an about page. So my website is jeffreyshaw.com. And if you go to the about page, I literally list my 6 values. Like, these are the 6 values that I do drop into. These are the 6 values that I make all my decisions based from. And I just put it out there on the website. And I basically said, look, to me, there's no better way to know somebody than know what they value. And also, like, organizations that I support. So I broke it down. It's what I value, what I support, and what I prioritize. I just figured, what else can I tell somebody than to tell them what I value, organizations that I support, like my political views, like here they are, like this is where my money goes, and what I prioritize in life. And it's that simple. It's just like a listing. Here's here's what I value, here's what I support, and here's what I prioritize. And I just put it in order. And it's gotten so much attention, and people have congratulated me for being so bold, particularly on just putting my political views out there. Like, this is where my money goes.
It's like almost like divine sign coming to me, because I'm actually redoing my entire copy also for my website. And I really wanted to pour into my value system and have it part of my entire message. So while you're reading it, you are experiencing my value system as well. And it's funny because even in the About Me page, I want to put all my values, like my core value, my mission statement. You got it. Like, this is what it is. And I was told by somebody who was part of my little advisory team of what we're doing was, maybe you don't want to do that because why do people need to know? To which in my brain, I'm like, no, but people need to know. People need to know, because I'm not here to serve every person because I just may not connect with that person. They may not want me as their lawyer. I think lawyer is a very intimate relationship with your client, and there should be some connection there. Yeah. And if you and I can share some of the same value system, or you can respect the value system I come from, you might also understand the way my process works. Yeah. And so I'm all about family also. Like, I have a family, and I want other people to know it's okay to have a family and be a professional and be the CEO of your company and maybe 3 other companies you've started. And it's okay to say, I'm going to take the weekend off and be with my family, or after 4 p.m., I'm not available. It's because we don't normalize those things, but we want the mother or the father to work like a crazy person, but then also be there for their family. But how can you do both at the same time sometimes? I just wanted to quickly ask you, somebody who is, maybe wanting to get into your self-employed business institute, but they're still grappling with it, not figuring it out. But what are some of your maybe top 3 tips for their business? And if they're trying to rebrand or trying to figure out how to market themselves? Yeah.
So first of all, everything I teach is very much an inside-out journey. It's one of the things that makes my business book, and I say it that way because it's such an unusual business book, but the Self-Employed Life is an unusual business book in that it is, it's probably 2/3 coaching, 1/3 business strategy, or maybe 50-50. But I believe to get the business success you want, it really begins with an inward journey, because I fundamentally absolutely believe that your level of success in business is relative to your level of personal development. Every time, you can't get to your next level of success in business until you first have expanded what you believe you're capable of and what you believe you deserve. Right? One of the biggest mental blocks is that we hold ourselves back because we haven't stepped into even believing that we deserve the next level of success. So then we just keep putting in more action and more work, and we keep bumping up against the ceiling. It's because we haven't done the inner work to expand what we feel we really deserve. Okay, so one thing I would say is that you have to do the inner work. So that's one tip. But you have to, that again is usually something that's done in the relationship with a coach. The second tip would be to really know what your core brand message. I doubt a lot of lawyers think about themselves as even having a brand message, but every business needs it. That's what people align to. They align with understanding what your core message is. And one of the results of that is what I call a standout statement. So what I help clients do is to really get in touch with their core brand message. What are they all about? What's unique, right? What's their core message? The standout statement is the translation of that into marketing terms. So that becomes the headline on your website. It's called a standout statement because it has to let the world know what you stand for, whom you stand up for, and be so compelling that it stands out. Mm-hmm. And it has to be done in fewer than 9 words, right? Because that's about the attention span you have of someone flipping through websites. So that to me is such an essential thing that most people don't have. They just don't have that core, without a doubt, I know what I stand for, core brand message. And if they don't have it, what they're putting out in the world is kind of a surface level slogan or tagline, but it's not resonating. It doesn't have the energy of words that really moves people to choose you. All of which is the work that we will be doing in the Self-Employed Business Institute. I mean, this is exactly, and it's got a very unique curriculum because it's heavy on the coaching in the beginning. And then we do get into hug marketing as a full-blown system, step-by-step, content marketing, email marketing. And we wrap up actually at the end of the 5 months with specific skill sets, like how to be an awesome podcast guest. I mean, It's something I can teach, right? So I teach the whole strategy of how to leverage podcasting to promote your business, how to take advantage of live stream opportunities, how to launch a book, right? Mm-hmm. I'm doing an entire masterclass on book launch. So it's a very complete curriculum for self-employed business owners because it's not like this broad and concept stuff. It is very tactical, the stuff that you can act in your business right away. But there's definitely a flow from doing the inner work to then applying the action to then very specific skill sets. That's so wonderful. Well, I'll be putting the link to that in the show notes as well. So if anybody wants to get more information about it, they can. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. My pleasure.